So, this week we're going over chapter 4. We're going to look at ethics and social responsibility. And you know what I'm going to ask you? What's the difference between these two? Well, how about we take a look? Here are some of the learning outcomes. I'm not going to go over them. I do want you to read through them though, because I want to have more time to go into the good stuff. So, ethics. Ethics is the set of moral principles or values that defines right and wrong for a person or group. So it's that set of rules that we have that determines what's right, what's wrong. And typically when we talk about morals, we're referring to a character issue. Today, it's not enough for companies just to make a profit. We also, and I mean consumers, I mean the employees, we expect managers to make a profit by doing the right things. Unfortunately, no matter what managers decide to do, there's going to be somebody who doesn't like it, or there are going to be some people who don't like it. So oftentimes managers have to be satisfied with a solution that just makes do or does the least harm. So rights and wrongs are rarely crystal clear to managers charged with doing the right thing. The business world is just a little messy when it comes to that. Studies have concluded that when people believe that their work environment is ethical, they are six times more likely to stay with that company than if they believe they work in an unethical environment. Ethical behavior means you're going to follow the accepted principles of what's right and what's wrong. And depending on what study you look at, it's been stated that 1/3 to 3/4 of all employees admit to having participated in some type of workplace deviance, whether it's production, property, political, or deviance. And this includes things like they've stolen from their employers, they've committed some type of computer fraud. If you're on a website and you're not supposed to be on that website at work, that's unethical. Embezzle funds, vandalize company property, sabotage a company project, faked an injury, said you were sick and you weren't. These are all workplace or considered to be workplace deviance. Historically, if management was unaware of unethical activities, then the company couldn't be held responsible for them. But that's changed. When the U.S. Sentencing Commission guidelines for organization was established, it determined that companies can be prosecuted and punished even if management didn't know about the unethical behavior. That makes me think about the Tracy Morgan incident, the comedian who was hit by a truck driver. I forget the company that the driver worked for. I think it was Walmart, but we don't know what kind of unethical behavior may have led to that. And even if Walmart management didn't know, they are still held responsible to that or for that. The guidelines imposed by the commission impose smaller fines on companies that actually take proactive steps to encourage ethical behavior. So if there are things in place to discourage that, then the fines will be less, and it's computed by adding a base fine to a culpability score, and those scores are added together or calculated rather by multiplying the base fine, which is the minimum, by the culpability score, which basically just the culpability score determines the extent of what the offense was. Although some ethical issues are easily solved, many simply don't have a clearly right or wrong answer. And even with that being the case, managers still need to have a clear sense of how to arrive at an answer in order to manage this ethical ambiguity, if you will. Decisions are going to differ in their ethical intensity, and this is the degree of concern people have about an ethical issue. For example, a decision on how a company is going to cut their healthcare expenses versus how to deal with an employee stealing paper. You see from example 4.5 here, Kohlberg's stages of moral development. Through his research, he felt that people went through or were at through one of these particular stages, which have larger umbrellas of pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. So let's say it's Friday night and you want to watch a movie. You're too tired and too cheap to go to either local movie theater or go to Redbox. So a friend of yours says that they've got a pirated movie. What do? Well, according to Kohlberg, your decision is going to be based upon your level of moral development. At the pre-conventional level of moral development, people decide based on selfish reasons. You just don't want to get caught. Yet in stage 2, which is the instrumental exchange stage, you worry less about punishment and more about doing things that you simply want to do, advancing your wants and needs. So you'll watch the movie. People at the conventional level of moral development, they make decisions that conform to societal expectations. They want to be seen as good, so they do what good people do. In stage 5, the social contract stage, you're going to refuse to watch the pirated movie because as a whole, society is just better off when you don't infringe upon the rights of others. You're going to stick to your principles even if your decision conflicts with the law, as you would in stage 4, or what others believe is best for society, such as with stage 5. Those who have a socialist or a communist belief would probably choose to watch the pirated movie because they believe goods and services should be owned by society rather than by individuals and corporations. So Kohlberg believed that people are going to pretty much progress sequentially through these earlier stages to a latter stage. However, he felt that only 20% of adults will ever reach the post-conventional stage. Beyond an issue's ethical intensity and a manager's level of moral maturity, the particular ethical principles that managers use will affect how they solve ethical dilemmas. And some of the ethical principles are listed here: long-term self-interest, religious injunctions, government requirements, individual rights, personal virtue, distributive justice, and utilitarian benefits. Practical steps to ethical decision making begin truly with selecting and hiring ethical employees. And how do you do that? You can use personality-based integrity tests, overt and personality-based integrity tests. Also, companies need to establish a specific code of ethics, train their employees to make ethical decisions, and then I think what's really important is creating an ethical climate. Managers should act ethically. Top management should be active and committed to the company ethics program. When I look at management, that means they are role modeling. They're not asking you to do anything unethical. And then establish a reporting system where people feel comfortable in trusting in a system where they can report behavior that is unethical. Now we'll look at social responsibility, and it's formally defined as a business's obligation to pursue policies, make decisions, and take actions that benefit society. There are basically two ways to look at the social responsibility of an organization. You can look at it from the perspective of the shareholder model or the stakeholder model. And what I mean by that is basically looking at what your goal is. Who are you there to satisfy? With a shareholder model, your overriding goal should be profit maximization. You are basically looking for the highest stock price. With the stakeholder model, you as a manager or management, most important responsibility is long-term survival. And it is best achieved by satisfying the interests of multiple corporate stakeholders. And your stakeholders are going to be anyone, your suppliers, your employees, those in your community, those who have a vested interest in the organization. So just what are organizations then responsible for? Well, companies can best benefit their stakeholders by fulfilling their economic, legal, ethical, and discretionary responsibilities, which you see here on the screen. Social responsiveness refers to a company's strategy to respond to stakeholders' economic, legal, ethical, or discretionary expectations concerning societal responsibility. A social responsibility problem is going to exist whenever a company's actions does not meet the stakeholder expectation. So they can choose to implement a reactive, a defensive, accommodative, or a proactive strategy. One question that managers often ask is, does it pay to be socially responsible? In previous editions of this textbook, the answer was no, as early research indicated that there was not significant and inherent relationship between social responsibility and economic performance. However, recent research leads to a different conclusion. There is no trade-off between being socially responsible and economic performance. But another way you can say that is being socially responsible usually won't make a business less profitable. But alternately, there is no guarantee that a socially responsible company will be profitable. So, how about you tell me now, what's the difference between ethics and social responsibility? But I need you to type it up for me. No handwritten submissions this time. Type it up for me and email it to me in Angel. Well, I look forward to seeing everyone on Wednesday. We're going to have fun going over ethics and social responsibility. Take care.